Shalom Aleichem. We are continuing learning about Mesilat Yesharim from Rabbi Miller. We are on page 114 of his translation, and we're in chapter 1.25. The requirement of effort. However, in order for man to gain this benefit, it is proper to first labor for it and attempt with his effort to acquire it. We said before that once you find out what is your purpose in the world, why did Hashem create the world? To enjoy, to receive pleasure, and the ultimate pleasure is closeness to Hashem, and the place of ultimate pleasure is the next world. How do you earn it? By doing mitzvot in this world. And we said one of the ways to get the reward in the next world is by attaching yourself to Hashem, being close to Hashem. And Hashem made it not so simple, not so easy. And that is because if we get something easy, we don't get so much reward. According to the effort we put in, that is the amount of reward we're going to get. And that is why Hashem made it very difficult to find the truth in this world. In order for man to gain this benefit, it is proper to first labor for it and attempt with his effort to acquire it. Achieving closeness to Hashem in your mind requires effort. Things must be done with the intention to increase closeness. The Mesilat Yesharim said in his introduction, "Behold, the fear of Hashem is wisdom." And he explained that our sages said that the word hen, behold, in Greek, the word hen means one. Meaning, as if we can find a hint in the Torah by applying a different language to a deeper meaning. One of the ways to learning Torah is to see what it means in a different language, and in particular Greek, because Greek, our sages say, is the language that is the closest to Hebrew in its, you can say, advanced structure, and therefore its holiness. Meaning that fear of Hashem is the one and only wisdom. When it says, behold, fear of Hashem is wisdom, the word behold is one. There is only one wisdom, and that is fear of Hashem. Since wisdom is difficult to acquire, then that makes this endeavor a very serious subject. What is wisdom? Fear of Hashem. That means fear of Hashem is difficult to acquire. It's difficult to acquire wisdom, and the ultimate wisdom is to fear Hashem. It says that a person who claims, I will sin and I will do teshuvah later, he is not given opportunity to do teshuvah. And what we learn now, that means fear of Hashem is a very difficult achievement. It's a wisdom that requires a lot of effort. And if a person says, oh, it's not a big deal, I'll sin and then I'll do teshuvah, Hashem says it's not so simple. A regular person cannot acquire fear of Hashem unless he has divine assistance. You need to have clarity of mind, and you need proper influences. And if Hashem doesn't help, the person can try all he wants, but he's not going to have clarity. His mind is going to be like in a fog. He will not be able to understand the idea of oneness of Hashem, of Hashem's closeness. And as much as he tries to do teshuvah, his mind is going to be blank. He's not going to have a thought of teshuvah, because it's very difficult to acquire the wisdom of fear of Hashem. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, but it is a difficult wisdom, and it requires time to put in place. Of course, one should not be discouraged. Any little bit a person acquires is like a little diamond. and a significant achievement. But in order to succeed, one must put in work, and then a person will be sure to succeed, because Hashem gives success to those who try. If you don't get divine assistance, you're not going to achieve it. And you may lose the divine assistance by treating teshuvah lightly, by treating divine assistance lightly. But lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, you don't have to finish. We have to acquire fear of Hashem. But what depends on us is not the final achievement. What depends on us is the effort we put in, the trial. The rest is up to Hashem. If Hashem helps us a lot, we'll be able to achieve a lot. If Hashem chooses not to, for whatever reason, we're not going to be able to achieve. But the reward we're going to get is according to the effort we put in. How much we tried. We tried once, a little bit, or we tried multiple times with a lot of effort. Hashem doesn't judge us on the achievement, He judges us on the effort and how many times we tried, and even if we fail, we continue trying. Hashem gives success only to those who try. In the way that a man wants to go, Hashem will take him. If he sincerely desires it, Hashem will help him. We have a rule that the way a man wants to go, that's the way he is led to. If you want good, Hashem will help you with it. If chas v'shalom someone wants bad, Hashem will help him with that as well. Hashem doesn't want you to choose bad, but if you do choose bad, sometimes Hashem will allow you to succeed in bad. That this means, Mesilat Yesharim continues, that a man should try to cling to Hashem by means of certain acts, whose results will be that, and these acts are the mitzvot. What can you do to show that you're trying to achieve fear of Hashem? You can do mitzvot. I would just say that mitzvot have a few different reasons. Number one is what we're learning now, that by fulfilling a mitzvah, that means I'm listening to God who commanded me, I'm showing that I have fear of Hashem. I'm listening to Him because I'm afraid of Him. So every time I do a mitzvah, I am instilling in myself, I'm increasing my fear. Another positive aspect of doing mitzvot is opportunity for us to express our gratitude. Hashem gave us so much, and we can't give anything back. But we find certain things that He mentioned that He would like us to do. And we say, oh, for sure, you did so much for us. We will be delighted. It's our privilege to do something for you. So for sure, let me keep Shabbat for you. For sure, let me eat kosher for you. Let me show that I'm so grateful that you, Hashem, did so many kindnesses, that I will throughout the day remember you, and I will send you certain token thank you cards. Hashem, I remember you did so much for me. I'm happy to serve you. I'm happy to give something. And Hashem, in His kindness, it's as it says, Hashem chafetz leman tzidko. Hashem wants to give tzedakah to the Jewish people. We cannot thank Him. And Hashem, in His kindness, wants to give us opportunity to thank Him. Yagdil Torah v'yadir. And therefore He increased the Torah and the mitzvot of Torah as opportunities for us to express our desire. Our desire is to thank Hashem, and we're given opportunity. So here we have two aspects of keeping mitzvot. One is showing our fear of Hashem, and the second one is showing our gratitude to Hashem. Now we're on page 115, chapter 1.26, obstacles. In addition to putting in obstacles in order to achieve closeness to Hashem and the fear of Hashem, the Holy One, blessed is He, put man in a place where there are many things that distance him from Hashem. Not only we're judged by effort, yes, we have to desire, we have to put in physical effort to get close to Hashem, but as if He's trying to stop us, Hashem put blockages, obstacles on our path. Why is He doing it? Doesn't He want us to come close to Him? Hashem put man into this world which is especially made to contain many obstacles that prevent thinking about God, in order that man should have to labor to overcome these obstacles. That is the idea of nisayon, a test. And these obstacles are the physical inclination. What is the greatest obstacle in our life that is stopping us from serving Hashem, from coming close to Hashem, is physical desires. What we may also call Yetzer Hara. Hashem put Yetzer Hara within us, not only from the outside world. Yes, outside world has a negative influence and presents a challenge. Bad company, bad community, media, co-workers, billboards, everything is a test. But the greatest test, the greatest obstacle is what's inside of us. The voice inside of us, the Yetzer Hara, that is trying to stop us from serving Hashem. Ta'avot, physical desires, as used here, doesn't mean that what people normally think. The inclination to desire certain things. Here it refers to the way the body naturally wants to behave. So this is not a negative thing. This is like the instinct. This is the nature of the body. The body naturally wants to see, wants to look around, sometimes at inappropriate things, sometimes just to waste time. It wants to hear things that it doesn't need to hear. It wants to smell and taste. The body wants to perceive everything in its surrounding environment. And this, you may say, is a survival instinct that Hashem implanted in us to be able to live in this world, but it's not totally harmless, because if we misuse it, if we don't control all our physical desires, we will spend our life pursuing them, going around the world, seeing the world, listening to all kinds of things that will not improve our life, tasting in all various venues, restaurants, things that we don't really need to spend our time on. And that is because the human being has curiosity. He has desire to perceive everything in its surrounding environment. As man perceives this world, he is then confronted with the reality that the world is planned and designed in such a way that all of the objects in the world are intended to deceive him into thinking that the world operates by cause and effect. From the news, the weather channel, and everything we see as soon as we step outside our house is trying to convince us that it's all survival of the fittest, it's all the power of my hand. The more you grab, the more you're going to have. The more you take advantage of others, the more you advertise, market yourself, the greater you're going to become. Humility is out of the window. Morality is out of the window. This is the obstacle being described here. This is implied by the verse in the Torah, Asher bara Elohim la'asod, which Hashem created to do. Hashem made the world so that it should appear to function on its own. In reality, the world does not function by itself at all, but by looking as if there is a cycle of water in the world, there's a life cycle, there is a pyramid, food pyramid, and you think that everything operates. There are rules of nature and everything just continues going. Hashem is not involved, maybe he wasn't there to begin with, chas v'shalom. Everything in the world is trying to trick us. And who made it? It's not the goyim, it's not the atheists, it's Hashem himself who is trying to hide himself. In reality, the world does not function by itself at all. Every moment, Hashem is causing the world to exist and to operate. But He made it look like it's working by itself. From then on, man has to search and discover that it's Hashem who is constantly making the creation. It's as if Hashem is our parent who is playing hide and go seek. He hid himself and he wants to see how long will it take his children to find him. And children may get worried, where's our parent? They might cry, or they might forget about their parent. They might say, oh, the parent is not here, so we're home alone, let's party, let's take out all the chocolate and all the electronics and let's play games and eat nash. Or they might say, no, I want to find my father. I want to be close to him. I want to spend time with him. Where is he? I'm not interested in chocolate. I'm not interested in computer games. I'm not interested in entertainment. I'm interested in my father. Where is he? And they search and they find. So too with us. We may forget about Hashem and say, oh, Hashem is not looking. Let me go and enjoy myself. No, Hashem is here. I just can't see him. So where is he? Let me uncover every curtain, open it up to reveal Hashem. Now we're in chapter 1.27 on page 116. Two functions of the world. Actually, the world has two functions. One function is, as we just said, to deceive mankind into believing that the world works through a system of cause and effect. But there is another function, which is to teach mankind. Because if one looks a little more closely, he will see in everything evidence of the miracles of plan and purpose. So on the surface, the world is a mask that's hiding Hashem. But if you're willing to spend time and search and study deeper, not a surface, but deeper, you will see an underlying connection between everything in the world. That everything runs like a well-oiled machine in unison. Every part of creation is fulfilling part of the same purpose. For example, the fact that something can grow out of the ground and provide sustenance to people is a miracle. The Gemara compares that miracle to the splitting of the sea. And just like the Pesach Haggadah says that there were 250 miracles at the splitting of the sea, so too there are no less than 250 miracles to bring forth bread from the earth. The world contains wisdom that is so complicated that only the greatest designer's mind could conceive it. And if you would like to learn more about it, Rabbi Victor Miller has a pamphlet that was published gathering these ideas from his writings and putting it into one pamphlet called The Universe Testifies. it is probably out of print, but you can still find it, and maybe you can borrow it, where he goes through various phenomena in the world and shows how it was planned and how there had to be knowledge of many other parts of the universe in order to create that. For example, he says, a fruit like an apple or an orange, whoever created it had to know that there exist people who like color, and that is why the skin of a fruit has a pleasant color. And whoever created the tree must know that people have a sense of smell, and therefore it gave the apple or an orange pleasant aroma to attract. And whoever created the apple knows that people like sweet, so it put sweet sugar in to the apple or an orange. Otherwise, the apple doesn't need the fruit, doesn't need the sweetness, doesn't need the color and the odor in order to reproduce. The apple might drop the seed just like pine trees drop the seeds, or a maple or an oak. Just drop the seed, it's going to go into the ground and it's going to sprout. You don't need to provide the fruit for people. The seed is not benefiting from the apple. Must be whoever created the apple knows that there are people who have eyes to see the color, who have nose to smell the odor, who have tongue to taste the sweetness and the sour, pleasant, and then when you think about it, you realize that the purpose of creating fruits was to give pleasure to people, and not only sustenance, because it could have been done with a potato, but to give pleasure of beautiful sight, beautiful aroma, and delicious taste. This is what David HaMelech tells us. Yoducha Hashem kol masecha, all of your works praise you. What Hashem made is His praise. They all speak of the glory of your kingdom. Why? To let people know about the mightiness of Hashem. The apple tree praises Hashem, and apple tree speaks of the glory of God's kingdom, in order to let people know about the mightiness of Hashem. Every time we look deeper into the world, every part, and if we study how amazing it is and how it is interconnected with everything else in the world, we will see Hashem's greatness. So instead of hiding Hashem from us, the opposite. Every part of creation will reveal Hashem to us. Earlier, the author explained that our most important function in the life is to get close to Hashem, deveikut. Here, however, the Mesilat Yesharim explains, the Holy One, blessed is He, put man in a place where there are many things that distance him from Hashem. This is a paradox. Our chief function is to get as close as possible to Hashem, but God intentionally planned this world such that many things in the world are intended to keep us as far away as possible from Him. This highlights for us the important principle that this world is not what it seems. That's why the world in Hebrew is called Olam. Olam from the word Ha'alem, which means hiding, hidden. The world is what hides Hashem. Hashem, in order to hide Himself, created a complicated world, so that if we look on the surface, we might say, yeah, the world functions by itself. There are all the cycles, there's everything necessary for life to form by itself, and therefore everything formed by itself and everything functions by itself. So Hashem created the complicated world in order to hide Himself. You can't hide in an empty room. You have to first populate the room with a lot of furniture, and then it will be easy to hide behind the furniture. The world is a place full of snares and traps which are planned by the master intelligence of Hashem. And if he makes a trap, it's an efficient trap, must be. Hashem created such a good world that it's successful in deceiving majority of the world population. Billions and billions of people throughout generations have been misled by the world. This is what the Mesilat Yesharim means when he says everything in the world, whether things that are happy for him or the opposite, they're all for the purpose of testing man. Everything in the world is a test. The ultimate purpose of all these tests is to keep our minds occupied so that we are prevented from thinking about Hashem. And that makes it, thinking about Hashem, so much more precious and rewarding. Not only do the tests keep us occupied, but they can even take us to the wrong direction. However, it is important to know another principle that is connected with these principles, that everything in the world has two sides. There is falsehood, which is planned to divert our minds away from the truth, but those very things are also planned to teach us the truth. Everything in the world we can use as a proof that there is no God, chas v'shalom, and that same thing we can prove that there is God. That is the genius of Hashem. He wants to give us freedom of will so that we can choose, do our own research and make a choice depending on our bias. If we choose to disprove Hashem, everything in the world will be a proof for us that there is no God. If we choose to find Hashem, everything in the world will prove to us that there is Hashem. That is the genius of Hashem, if we can say such a thing. He knows how to plan a test. The same test which is a peril for the mind and can lead someone into darkness, it can be a golden opportunity to illuminate the mind and to acquire closeness to Hashem. The very things that distance us from Hashem, if they are utilized properly, can be the means to bring us closer to Him. We're stopping here. Bezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.